everyone, my name is Kaikun6 and I'm here to do another episode of Playlist Stories. I did say I wanted to do like another crafting video, maybe show off like my washi tape collection or maybe like I was gonna do maybe like another shopping haul video because I do have some stuff piled up that I wanted to show you guys, but something happened in one of my recent memories, or like, you know, a recent like post that I made on my personal Facebook. I talk about this memory from 10 years ago, and I know a few of my friends know what I'm talking about. And I'm here to tell you the story today. This was a very interesting story because I went through this something where it kind of like traumatized me a little bit, but not really. I don't know how do you explain it, but it was just like mainly something that happened in my life where it became like a catalyst to how I felt for this certain memory, and then all of a sudden it just turned into something else. So let's just get started. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a background of this of the story, but I'm gonna tell you the like what just happened and like what's gonna happen, and then this and that. I don't know. I'll just see how I'm gonna talk about it because like I remembered I forgot about this. And it was always in the back burner of my mind because I have never had anybody that did this to me so intensely in a very long time. And then all of a sudden, I forget it, and then and then it just pops up out of nowhere. So anyway, let's just get started with the video anyway. As you can see the title, Take Me Out by Franz Ferdinand. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that band right, but I really like that song. I remember listening to it a lot in high school, and my friend Alibaba was the one who actually like put that song in one of my iPods that I had at the time, and I remember listening to it often. And then I felt like maybe there won't be a memory attached to this, and then all of a sudden it just did, like years and years later, right? So let's fast forward to like, you know, just a month ago, maybe 10 years ago, basically, from between like the end of August to like the beginning of September of 2013. I remembered one of my mom's friends showing up and everything, and so she was going through like issues with her man and the kids, and I don't know what else. I think she was losing her job, or she was about to gain a job that was going to be stressful. I don't know. All I remember was I did not like her. I don't think nobody did. My mom just saved her from a really bad time in her life, and so she appreciated everything my mom's been doing for her. But of course, that came at a cost, and it cost her a lot of money, and my mom was just like, never again, I'm not going to help her. And so she came over just to like repay that back to my mom, even though what she did was kind of like really, really wrong after that. So anyway, she says something about like a lot of body issues that I had. Supposedly, like, she pointed it out, and I was just like, what the fuck? What's going on? Why is she attacking me like this or something? And so I didn't let her comments get to me till like a few days after that. And then I remember crying, and I remembered my mom not defending me at all in this way. So I just felt like, okay, I'm not gonna forgive her for that for a little bit. And so as soon as everybody heard what happened, like, everybody got pissed. I even posted it up on Facebook, and then everyone was just like, what the fuck? Like, why does she have the right to, like, you know, tell you about your body? Like, it's your body, you do what you want with it. And I said, yeah, and everything. And so, but she made a lot of good points, because I'm like, who knows if my health was really bad, or like, yes, I was like a little bit overweight. I still am, you know, I am bigger now than I was back then. But I felt like, I got straight into a relationship like immediately, where I didn't even know if it was gonna go anywhere. And then, you know, a few years later, I felt like, you know, Blake was perfect for me. And so his comments to me, like, especially how he tells me like I'm very pretty, I'm beautiful, everything, and like how I'm perfect for him, like, it just didn't, like, you know, it didn't faze me at all. And so her comments for some reason fazed me, and I guess I was just like in a low time of my life or something. I don't know. I just remembered I was trying to get a job or something, and then all of a sudden I was just like, this bitch is fucking attacking me for some reason. And then so I felt like very self-conscious. I remembered after that I was wearing layered clothing all the time. I covered myself up with everything. And I always held my hair back a lot too, because a lot of my friends know that I used to put like my hair all the time in ponytails or in buns or something, and I still do. It's just like I've been having my hair up for so long, for such a long time. Who knows if I'm balding here or not, but I wanted to give like my hair a break, and so you always see me with my hair down, so that's why I'm trying to give my hair a break. And so I just remembered not that long after, I was playing Skyrim, where my friend Jaws bought that game for me for like a gift. And so I remembered for a month and a half I was like playing this game, and then all of a sudden I just developed this type of anxiety where I just didn't want to leave my house. And it's so funny because I felt like at the time I will never understand people that have this type of anxiety where they don't leave their house. And then all of a sudden I finally felt their fear, like felt that, and I fully understood, and I still understand as of today, even though I'm using that now as an excuse just to hate people. So I just remembered not wanting to get out of my house at all, like, or at the time my mom's house. And so I just decided, like, I'm just gonna stay here. My mom barely took me out anywhere, and when I went to the grocery store, I had a whole slew of anxieties coming out of me. And then as time went by, it went really good, and then all of a sudden I started feeling a little bit better. I started hanging out with friends again, and I felt a little bit better, but it was not like a full 100% better. And so I was still self-conscious. Like, my mom's friend never came back at all. So she went to go talk to her and was just like, hey, don't do that to my daughter. She's very sensitive, this and this. And I'm just like, well, yeah, I'm very sensitive. I'm a Pisces. I'm naturally sensitive. And so I get naturally emotional and everything. And so so not that long after, my mom had to go to a doctor's appointment, right? I ended up not wanting to go. I told her I don't want to go, and she's just like, oh, you have to go because if I do get the surgery, they're gonna dilate my eyes and I need somebody to drive me there. And I was just like, fuck, okay, sure, I'll see if I can. And then she's like, yeah, because we'll just see if you're able to drive. And then I was just like, how the fuck am I going to drive? I don't have my license. And I was just like, maybe I'll just drive very carefully at the time. If my mom could point me out, or how am I going to drive slow or fast or something. I don't know, because I didn't got my license till like, shoot, I don't know what year. I don't remember what year, but I just remember not having a license at the time. And I was about to get my license maybe like a few months after that. And it was going to be like right around my birthday, you know? So, or around my sister's birthday, I would say, because I remember I got it at January, but they issued it for February, and then after that it was just my birthday every time. So anyway, I remembered going to this doctor's office. I wish I could tell you like maybe it's still there or anything, and I'm just gonna tell you the name of the place or whatever, or where it's located at. But all I know is that every time that whenever I was still in California and I would pass by it just to go eat at a restaurant or go to the courthouse for jury duty or some other stuff, I always see this glass building to like the right hand side of like whichever direction that you're driving is always on the right hand side, or just in general, like just in that same area basically. And it was like full of glass, full of windows, everything, and it's sort of tinted in some of them, and you could tell like which ones are like private offices, which ones are like actual, you know, doctors' offices where clients can go in there and just like talk to these doctors and get consultations, get surgeries. I don't know. Anyway, I went to this area, and I think it was called Imaging Center, and it was in Rancho Cucamonga, California. I remember going in this building where I felt very uncomfortable immediately because of the fact that this dude, and I don't know his name because he never wore his little, you know, name tag on there, but I immediately gave him a name, and I named him Jason because he kind of looked like a Jason to me. And I just remembered just looking straight at him from the left side of like the entrance when we were coming into this building. He immediately he looked at me and was just like, you know, kind of like that moment where he might have known me who I am, or like knows who I am. I don't know, but for some reason he didn't look familiar to me at the time. because I felt like I'm trying to picture who this guy looks like, you know, because in my mind I'm like, maybe he looks like this, maybe he looks like that, and it didn't like click on me until like after my mom went to have that consultation with her doctor. So I kept like thinking like, okay, maybe this dude just looks familiar, this and that. And so I remember looking to the right side of me while my mom was talking to the receptionist. I looked to my right and I saw like a bunch of chairs, still windows and everything, and then I saw like 3 or 4 TVs up on the wall, and they were playing the Land Before Time movie, and I was just like, oh my god, I haven't seen the full thing at all. I might actually have a chance to actually see the full thing. And so I got really excited to watch it, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be like on my phone for a little bit to see what my friend's been up to. And then so it's gonna be such a good like doctor's visit. And so because I only watched it for a certain time, but I never actually fully watched it when I was a child, because my mom was always like, we're gonna go to, you know, go to the doctors, or we're gonna go grocery shopping, I have errands to do, you kids gonna have to come with me. So we only saw like a few minutes of it here and there, or once we actually had like time for TV time, we only got to see sometimes like the middle of the movie till the end, or just the end, you know, that type of thing. And that's why a lot of the times whenever my husband and we talk about like certain movies or TV shows, and I'm just like, I've never heard of it, and it's like, what the fuck, you should have, because it's like one of those things that every single kid might have watched, and I just said I never did. It was either I got banned, like it was banned in the house, or just never watched it in the time that they showed it on TV. And so so Blake would try to like rent out the movies or buy the movies and be like, let's go watch this, or if he finds it like on YouTube or Hulu or Netflix or whatever, and then or any streaming areas, and then we'll watch it, and I'll be like, oh, this is really cool, or I just didn't like it or something. I don't understand the hype, I don't understand it, this and that. So anyway, for me, it was like that for The Land Before Time. But then after watching it during that doctor's visit, even though the way that I felt at the time, I still enjoy the movie. And so I just remembered getting all excited for the movie. And then I was like looking at my mom, and I was like, Mom, like, look, The Land Before Time, remember the dinosaur movie? She was just like, yeah, I remember that movie. Like, oh my god, you and your brother were always obsessive over it. I said, even Bubba's is obsessive over it. It's like, oh my god, all you 3 kids. And then she starts laughing, and of course the receptionist starts laughing, right? And I felt like, okay, he's now creeping me out, because I didn't realize that this dude was staring at me the whole time. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this problem, right? And my mom, being the supportive mom that she was at the time, she tried to like, you know, figure out what his deal was too, because when I told her that this dude has not stopped staring at me since we came through the doors, my mom was like, I'm gonna see if he's just staring something else. And so I was like, Mija, come, like, I'm gonna go to the restroom, okay? And then so he was like, I'm gonna go to the restroom, okay? And the guy was just like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Didn't even stare at my mom once. He just like didn't even look up from the computer screen or anything. He just looked straight at me, right? And my mom was just like, okay, that's really weird. Went to go use the restroom, like she intended to anyway. And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I decided I'm just gonna avoid looking at him, and I did. I remember avoiding looking at him for a very long time, and my mom came out, and she was just like, okay, yeah, this dude was staring at you. And I just said, yeah, what the fuck? Why is he staring at me? And it's like, does he look familiar to you, Mija? I'm like, no, none at all. Like, I don't know. And I highly doubt this dude was like listening to our conversations, because he didn't look phased or nothing. And also when we were whispering, we were sitting in an area where I don't think we were even an earshot away of listening. So but he never smiled or anything. He just had like a very stern face and just kept staring at me. And so I felt like, okay, maybe maybe like my self-consciousness, like my, like how I really am about me, maybe he was making fun of me in some way. I was very pessimistic. I felt like maybe he just thought I was like ugly or this and this. I don't know. I felt that way, and I was just like, okay, maybe it's something to do with my skin. And I kept looking at my skin. I kept looking at like my face and my phone when I had it on the front camera. Nothing. Like, I felt like I was basically okay. Maybe my outfit stood out. No, all I had was a black shirt, some black pants, or I should say leggings, because I did wear a lot of leggings at the time. And I had my black and white DC shoes that like my mom bought me like years and years ago, where I don't know if it's the same type or model or the same look as the one that Rob Dyrdek used to wear when I was for the Robin Big show back then. And so I remember getting these shoes, and I felt so happy that I got them, and I remember wearing them all over high school and even after college and stuff. So I just kept these shoes for forever, basically. And they were like my longest pair of shoes, and luckily I don't have them anymore, luckily, because they did tore apart after a while. And so I just remember maybe he was looking at my shoes or something, but no, he kept looking straight at me like nothing else. And I kept thinking, maybe maybe it's not straight at me. Maybe I am thinking that way. Maybe he thinks, maybe he's staring something behind me. And so at one point, I had a plan where I was going to stand up and sit somewhere else to see if he was like keep staring at me. So luckily my mom's doctor came out and was just like, we're going to go over the consultation and everything. Like, he was just introducing himself and talking to my mom about like what they're going to do today, and then maybe they'll work on her eyes or something like that. But no, it was just a full-on consultation. It took like maybe 30 to 45 minutes or something. And then she was going to sign some papers, and then that way my mom can ask questions to see. I don't know. It was like a very long consultation, because I've never had consultations that took that long, especially for my mom. So, and especially since they were going to be her eyeballs, like they were going to get rid of her cataracts. So I was just like, okay, maybe it won't take that long, right? So I, not that long after, he kept staring at the doctor, right? Like, he was just like wondering like, okay, once he's gone, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, basically. And that's what he did. Once the doctor left with my mom, immediately just looked straight at his computer screen, typed in a few things, and then immediately like stopped. And then he looked straight at me, and I was just like, what the fuck, you know? And so I felt like, okay, now I can move on with my plan. But I felt like I was chickening out, because it went from like that minute to like 3 minutes to 5 minutes. And then eventually after 10 minutes, I was just like, okay, I'm going to get up and go to the restroom. And so I told the guy, I got up and I just said, I'm going to go use the restroom. Is that okay? And he's just like, yeah, go ahead. Like, dead fucking voice ever. Literally, like, nothing fazed him. So I looked up, looked at my peripheral vision. He was staring straight at me. I was just like, what the fuck, right? So I ended up using the restroom, and I wanted to stay in there the entire time, because I felt very creeped out, and I didn't know what to do. And I felt like my only hope was like my mom, and she was like in her doctor. So I was just like, who the fuck am I gonna rely on? My brother and my sister? My brother was at work, and if I did call him, I didn't want to like hinder his job anyway. And then of course my sister, she didn't got her license yet, so she wouldn't know how to drive. And then I thought of my dad, but then usually my dad will never ever go to Rancho Cucamonga unless it's like a very special occasion. So I was just like, I'm fucked. I really was. So I ended up going to the restroom like I did, because I eventually like panicked to the point where my bladder was like, hey, let's go, you know, we gotta go. And so I went to go do my business, and then I got out, and I didn't bother looking at the guy, but I just knew in my peripheral vision, he kept staring straight at me. I was just like, fuck, okay, so where do I go now? I'm not gonna sit in my original seat. So I changed seats, and luckily there was a sectional wall in that waiting room area where the wall sort of blocked the reception area when you sit down, right? And of course there was like a plant and everything, like a small tree or something. And on that wall had a TV screen also that was playing Land Before Time. And I think it was like almost halfway done of the movie or something. I don't remember, but like something happened where it skipped forward like a few minutes. And then I was just like, what the fuck? This is already like almost the middle of the movie. This is crazy. And so I was like, maybe they have a problem with that DVD or something. I don't know. I just remembered it was barely the beginning of the movie, and then my panicking mode came in, and I didn't pay attention, and all of a sudden it was just the middle of the movie, and I was just like, what the fuck? So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to enjoy the movie. So I went to go sit down at that area where there was a chair where I wouldn't be able to see the reception area. And so I sat there. I went to go watch the movie. I looked up and everything, since like the TV screen was very high, so I had to go like lean back and stare, right? And then once in a while, I'll look down to go see my phone to see, like, you know, any updates on my friends, you know, what they were going through, any, you know, it could be either good or bad or something. I just wanted to like show support, and then see, like, you know, be a really good friend that I was trying to be at the time. And then when I was done looking at my phone, I pulled out I think my iPod at the time or something. I don't know. I was just listening to music. And then so this song of the title came out, and I was just like, okay, why is it repeating again, this song? And I'm like, there's like thousands of songs in that iPod. Why is it this one playing again? And then all of a sudden, as soon as it got to like the chorus of the song, I immediately looked up, and I could tell he was staring straight at me, and I panicked. I remember panicking, and I was like, why the fuck is this dude staring at me? Like, dude, like, is he, like, what the fuck is going on? And then my thoughts went to, like, instead of me, like, you know, like, maybe he thinks I'm ugly or something. My thoughts immediately went to, like, maybe he was trying to figure out, like, am I really his daughter? Because of the fact that now I have very light skin, because the sun barely touches my face, like, at least once or twice a week. So, but if I stay in the sun for a very long time and constantly, like, my skin can get as dark as this or darker, you know. So I have very dark arms compared to the rest of my body. So I remembered thinking, like, I'm very tan. I really am. I remember I used to be a little bit darker than this on my face. So I was like, and my mom has very light skin. So I just thought maybe he thought I was adopted or this and that. But I remember my mom telling the receptionist and the doctor beforehand, and just said, no, that's my blood daughter. Like, that's my real daughter. It's just, I had a husband that was very, very dark skinned, and all my kids ended up looking like him and taking the pigment of his skin, this and that. So it was like understandable, but then I'm like, okay, so my mom told them about that, because she gets very personal when it comes to doctors. If they ask her, she'll answer, you know? So but he kept staring at me, and I was just like, what the fuck was his problem? Did I really look familiar to him or anything? And so my thoughts went to, like, maybe I might have seen him before. Maybe I have, and maybe, like, did I do something wrong to him? Like, did I upset him? And my thoughts went to, like, you know, maybe I bumped into him in the grocery store by accident. Did I spill some coffee on him or anything? Nothing came to mind. It really didn't. And I was like, okay, maybe high school, maybe college, maybe an old job that I had or something. High school, no, because I'm like, this dude looked way older than I thought. And then I remembered, like, he was, like, around my age anyway. So I just thought, okay, maybe he didn't went to the same high school as I did, because he didn't look familiar to me. And it's not like I remember every single face of, like, you know, of everyone that went to my high school in all 4 years, including, like, all the freshmen that I met when I was a senior, right? No. I was like, nope, it can't be high school. And so I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna go observe his face. So for a good 15 minutes, I remember looking at him, and he did not got phased at all. It was just like that moment where I think, like, he might have think I realized where I might have seen him before, and maybe I would have said something. But no, I literally blanked out. I was just like, okay, so it was in high school, maybe it was in college, right? Nothing, like, nothing in college sounded like familiar to me. But then I was just like, I didn't know anybody in college anyway. There was a lot of passing faces, and there was only like a few like a handful of people that I knew in there that I really got attached to. And then they're like one of the reasons why, like, you know, they'll tell me stories, and then I want to tell those stories to my friends, like, come on, just give me all the tea, you know, that type of thing. they were like those type of people. And so after a while, I guess it didn't dawn on me until after like a couple months later that I found out where he came from. So I'll tell you where I officially found him. So apparently, as soon as I found out that, okay, well, looks like the movie's about to end in like 10 minutes. So I kept staring up. I kept looking at the movie for like a few minutes. Then I looked down on my phone and then kept staring at the dude. It was kind of like a routine. And so after a while, I started feeling from like, oh, maybe he doesn't think I'm ugly anymore, or maybe there's something wrong with me, to like full on creeped out mode. I really was. I was like, what the fuck was this dude's problem? What can I do differently? Should I move another seat? Like, should I even hide? Like, should I even go to my mom's car and see if one of the doors are locked and hide in there? I was full on like scared and creeped out. And so I was like trying to build up the courage immediately after. Was like, okay, I'm gonna go confront this guy and ask him like, what the fuck is his problem? And I'm like, he wasn't staring at his car, because where he was facing at or looking at towards, like right behind me, was the employee parking, and everywhere else was just like the client parking. So I felt like maybe he was staring at his car. No, it wasn't his car. Okay, maybe he was hoping maybe a coworker would come in. All of his coworkers were there. Even the clients that they were coming in throughout that whole period of time, they sat down and like waited, and I was having conversations with them also, like wondering like, oh, is this your first time here? And I said, yes, but it's not for me, it's for my mom. Like, she's trying to get her cataracts or something like that and done, and I think she's in the consultation thing. It's like, oh really, how long does it last? And I'm like, so far it's been like 35 minutes, almost 40 minutes. Like, I think she'll be done in like as soon as this movie is over. And then she's like, oh, I haven't seen the Land Before Time at all. That's gonna be my first time watching. I said, well, maybe they'll put it on replay and maybe you have a chance to play it, to see it. And she's like, well, hopefully. If not, then I'll just watch it when I get home, or find the movie and just rent it out or something. So I was like, all right, cool. So I had a really good conversations from like a couple of older ladies, and then there was a couple of gentlemen also that kind of like came in, started talking to me, and he was saying like, you're very nice, you know, like usually people at your age are very rude. And I was like, really? It's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm only like, like this was about what, 2013, 2014, so I was like 21. So I was like, well, I turned 21 this year. And he's like, really? Like, you should be out partying. And I was like, no, I am gonna be drinking soon, like with my friends, but like I've never been that type of girl to live that lifestyle. And it's just like, you're a good girl, like your mother is lucky to have you. And I was just like, thank you, right? And I kept looking over to the guy to see if he has any reaction to that. He smirked a few times, you guys. Oh, I felt so creeped out, especially the way that he smirked. It just, it got under my skin. It really did. He creeped me out, and I was like, okay, maybe I should like continue with the conversations. Okay, the movie was done. I was like, okay, I have nothing else to talk about. And the lady was like, oh, that was such a sweet ending for a movie. And then it was her turn to get called in, and she's like, oh man, I wanted to see the beginning of this movie. And got up and went to like her doctor, because there was a bunch of doctors in this building, but only for a certain few was like available for certain clients. So finally her doctor came and just like, yeah, let's go talk and this and that. And so eventually almost everybody was gone in that waiting room, and I was just like, fuck, I'm by myself. What am I gonna do? Like, I need to talk to people. I need to like keep myself busy so I don't start getting paranoid because of this guy. And then all of a sudden I remember looking up, and he was really staring, but like he already had the smirk on his face, and I was just like, that is just so fucking creepy. What am I supposed to do? And so immediately thought, maybe I should use the restroom again. It has been a few minutes, or it has been like 30 to 45 minutes. I need to go to the bathroom again. I was like panicking. What should I do? Like, should I just go outside and just like, you know, blend in with nature? Because there were some bushes around there, and there was an area where you could basically hide if for some reason your kids wanted to play hide and go seek in there. So I was about to do that, and then my mom came out. I was just like, thank God, you know, like my mom finally came out. And so I was just waiting for my mom to be like, hey mija, we can go now, right? So my mom finally said it, and I was just like, fucking finally. I got up, no hesitation whatsoever. I got up and I stood next to her, trying to avoid looking at him because I was hiding behind my mom. And my mom is short, you guys, but she was like at that eye level where I will never see past the top of her head. So excuse me, that was really gross of me. I don't know what was that. So I was like standing behind her just to avoid her. And then eventually all the other clients started coming out, and it was just like, oh, like, you have a very lovely daughter, this and that. Like, you know, they were very older people, and they were really nice. And they're like, oh, really? Thank you. You know, like, I'm lucky to have a daughter. I also have another daughter and another son. Like, they're very lovely people. Like, oh, if we come here often, hopefully we'll be able to see them. And it's like, all right, cool. And so they're like, okay, well, have a good day, young lady. And I was like, thank you. It's like, and you have a lovely day too, ma'am. And my mom was just like, thank you. And so all these people were just really nice. And I've never encountered that many nice people in a doctor's office before, honestly. Like, usually the employees are very, very nice to us. But it felt like this time it was like, switched around. Like the clients were very nice, or the customers I should say, and then the employees were kind of rude, but I'm calling that rude because the dude kept staring, you know what I mean? So he was like you know, talking to my mom, and was just like, oh, I don't, like, do you want to reschedule or anything with an appointment with us? And my mom was like, well, the doctor said that in 6 months I had to go get the surgery, so is it possible to get a surgery around this time and in 6 months? And so he went over the computer. That was the moment where he stopped staring, right? I just knew he would stop staring, but then I just knew he was like trying to see me in his peripheral vision no matter what. So I was just like, I think this is my cue to go outside and not look at him, right? So that's what I did. I walked outside through the sliding doors, stood outside waiting for my mom by the car, and I didn't even know if he was staring at me or not. I just like immediately was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm out of there finally. Like, I can't believe this dude was staring at me this whole entire time, and I can't believe I survived that. I still want to know who the fuck this dude was and whatnot. So I had all these thoughts in my brain, right? And so my mom immediately was just like, what the fuck? Why did you left? You know, that look. And so the dude, I could still hear him through the glass windows. The dude was just like, well, here's your next appointment. Hopefully we'll see you in 6 months. If you need to reschedule, don't hesitate to call us, and then we'll reschedule. And it was like, okay, well then, thank you. Have a lovely day. It's like, you too as well. And then, immediately it felt like that movie moment, you know, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, where you know, kind of like the moment where you see the sliding doors, like they're closing into each other, and then you see like somebody staring at you or whatever. That's what happened. Immediately when the door started sliding, they were like sliding to close as soon as my mom left that the doctor's building. He literally looked straight at me, and I felt so creeped out. And I was like, okay, I hope he did not notice that I panicked. Like, because I felt like as soon as I got in the car, I panicked. I was like on the verge of like tears and crying and everything, or I was going to, but then I got distracted with my mom telling me about, you know, what's going to happen with her cataracts. And then so I decided, you know what? I'm just going to talk to her. And then once she was done with the cataracts, immediately she asked me, mija, did he stare at you? I said, all the way till the end, till we got to the car. Mom was like, do you want me to go talk to him to see what the fuck his problem is? And I said, no, Mom, I don't want you to have issues. Like, maybe this will be like the best doctor in the world, and I don't want you to like get kicked out of the office. So like, I'll deal with this on my own time or something. And so my mom was like, do you think I should bring over your sister and your brother next time when I come here? And I just said, if you want to, maybe one of them can actually like talk to this dude and see what's going on. And I will tell you more details on that in a bit. So my mom was just like, okay, then like, but what you thought about him? And I was just like, what the fuck fuck are you talking about? And it's like, mija, that guy was handsome. And like, I know he's way younger than me and all that, but mija, he was very handsome. And I was just like laughing my ass off. And I was just like, oh my God. And I felt like thinking, yeah, he's very handsome. He really is, you guys. Like, the whole, like, my thought was like, what did he look like? What does he look like? And finally, I just put two and two together. And of course, it was like a 20s version of like Freddie Prinze Jr. right when he was really younger, and then Ryan Gosling had a baby. Like, if they both of them had a baby together, that's what this dude looked like. And for the longest time I was just like, oh my God, this is like the perfect like looking human being or something. And he was just staring straight at me. I don't know why, but I should not be feeling creeped out, but I did. And then I was just like I don't even know what his name was. And my mom was like, I never bothered to ask, because then I would have been like, okay, I would have called him by his first name and then made him creeped out or something. I said, Mom, don't do that. And she's like, yeah, but like, mija, you should have gotten his number. I was just like, what the fuck, Mom? Like, I'm with Blake. And she's like, so maybe you could hook him up with your sister. I was just like, shit, why didn't I think of that? Well, I was fucking panicking when he was staring straight at me the whole time. And so, of course, she went in for her surgery, I think 6 months later. I think I made an excuse this time. I was just like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends Choji and Jaws. And so if you want to, go take Bubba with you. And my sister did not have work or college at this time. So, yeah, like work. So my sister's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go join Mom anyway. Like, I need to get out of the house. I've been working so much, or I've been doing so much, and I need to leave. And so, and my mom was like, we have plans to go like shopping anyway. So if you want to join us, we'll come and pick you up when you're done hanging out with your friends. And I said, I think it's gonna be an entire day. And so I was like, okay, cool. So it's like, if you need anything, just call us. And I just said, sure, Mom. So immediately my sister was like, you know, she was dolled up, you guys. Like, she had makeup on, she fixed her hair, she had like very pretty clothes on. Like, man, she was a bad bitch, right? So I felt like a lot of men should look at this woman, right? Like, she's very, very pretty, right? And no, this dude was not fucking fazed by her at all. Only took one good look at her. That's it. That is it, you guys. I was like, what the fuck was this dude's problem? Like, there's a beautiful woman standing right there in the reception area, and you didn't even bother to look at her, not even more than once. Like, what the fuck? So my mom was very, very confused, right? My mom was just like, what the fuck is going on here? And my sister was just like, I don't know, but I'm gonna be doing my thing and see what's going on. So my sister tried to get his attention. She like got up to the restroom just to go, like, you know, see if he was staring at her. Nothing, you guys. Nothing. And so, and for me, like, I had a bare face. I had no makeup, no nothing. Because I'm just like, I didn't know how to wear makeup. Even as of today, I don't know how to wear makeup. I only sometimes wear eyeliner. And that's it. And sometimes that's enough for me, because I feel like I feel very pretty when I have eyeliner on. Especially black eyeliner. So for her, she had a full-on face of makeup. She looked very pretty, you guys. Like, my sister's very pretty. And so I felt like, why was this handsome fucking asshole not even staring at my sister, not even once? Whereas he was staring at me with a bare face and looked like this, right? No. My sister was baffled. She was just like, what the fuck was this dude's problem? I was like, I don't know. I wish I knew, Bubba. And so my sister was just like, that guy was so lucky, because I was gonna ask him, like, what the fuck was your problem for staring at my sister right before my mom got out for her cataract surgery. Apparently it just took a few minutes to do. Apparently the doctor had like a bunch of other clients, and so he was like in this hyper focus mode where he was gonna do these eyes, and then that was it. Gave her the consultation a little bit, telling her like, oh, you need to do something with your dilated eyes, this and that. And so luckily, it was already around the time that my sister got her license, and she was already driving a little bit. And so that's why she was like, if something happens with Mom, I can just drive her home and all that. And so my sister ended up texting me, right? She was just like, this dude did not fucking look at me. I'm like, what? What the fuck? Really? And it's like, yeah, he did not look at me. And I was just like, what the fuck was this dude's problem then? Why was he staring at me? So I was just like going through all these thoughts again, and I was just like, I don't know. And then so my mom had to come back like like another month or so, I think, because of the fact that they wanted to see like an update on her eyeballs, and then if like things were progressing, maybe she'll schedule another cataract surgery for another 6 more months, because that around that time she was getting it done every 6 months. So she'll go to that doctor or another doctor to get her a cataract surgery. So a month later, my brother for some reason called off, right? And my brother forgot all about all the incident, because I remember when I got home from my experience, I told everybody what happened, including my friends. And of course, some of them forgot because they were just like, oh shit, that's really crazy. But I got other shit going on in my life. And I said, yeah, that's fine. So my sister was just like, what the fuck was wrong with this guy? And so my sister came home, and luckily for me, I came home also like around the same time as they did, because I was just like, well, apparently like the hangout wasn't that long, and plus I think like either Jaws had other plans or something, but we had to cut this hangout short. So I remembered my dad picking me up and then taking me to back home, even though I think at the time I was letting Blake borrow my car at the time. I don't know. I was letting him borrow my piece of poo at the time. I don't know. I just remembered I had to get picked up. I got home, and then a few minutes later, my sister and my mom came home, and then I can tell my sister was just fucking pissed off, and I was just like, oh no, what happened? So she told me the dude didn't even look at her once, not even acknowledged her. Not even once. And so my mom was just like, I don't know what happened, mija. That's what happened. I was just like, pero ama, my sister is very pretty. You know, she's all dolled up and everything. So there should have been some looks, or at least somewhat, to stare, right? And my mom said, that's what I thought too, but I don't know, mija. Maybe, I don't know what's going on. And so I was just like, fuck, okay, what should I do? And so my brother overheard the conversation, right? And he just came home from work, and we didn't even know he was home because we were just so busy talking to each other. My brother came out and was just like, so the dude did not stare at Bubba? And everybody turned around like, what the fuck? When did you got home, right? And so so my brother wanted to know the details. Bubba told him everything. I told him again what happened, like, you know, that 6 months ago, that type of thing. And so my brother was just like, now it's my turn. Let me go see if I can get something out of him. So a month later, my brother decided, I'm just gonna take the day off because I don't feel good, or maybe he just needed a day off, you know, because he had those stressful days when he was with Pet Boys and Just Tires, and that was like his previous jobs that he had before he got with now his current job, which I think is now at Toyota or something like that. But anyway, so he decided, I'm gonna call off, and my mom was like, mijo, I'm gonna be going to the eye surgery people to see if my eyes are okay. And my brother was just like remembering what me and my sister talked about, and was just like, okay, I'm gonna go with you, mom. So Louis went to my mom to the doctor's office, and then like it's so funny. My brother was just like, this dude is fucking tall, okay? And I just said, really? How tall? He's 6'1", you guys. And my brother is 5'6.5", almost 7, okay? For somebody at his height to be intimidated is just crazy to me, right? Because throughout my entire life, a lot of people were intimidated by my brother, no matter how tall or how short he really was. He just had that aura, right? This dude, I felt like he was like hard as a stone or anything. He was intimidated by my brother, like real big time, you guys. And so my brother immediately was just like, hey, like, do you know my mom's gonna be done in a little bit or something? Like, when is her appointment? You know, I'm basically answering questions. He was like taking over, right? And my mom was just like, mijo, what's going on? Like, why are you like this? And then the dude felt really scared. He hesitated. He was just like, oh, your mom is gonna be, you know, she's about to go to her doctor's in like 5 minutes. Don't worry, just wait for a little bit, and then the doctor will be out there with you. And my mom was just like, what the fuck is going on? And so my brother was just like, okay, thank you. And then immediately, like, other customers or clients came in, and they saw my brother and my mom together, and they thought, oh no, this is gonna be like a very interesting couple, right? Because I don't know if you guys knew about this or I talked about it before. They always confused my brother as like my mom's boyfriend boy toy, whatever. And my mom always had to be rude to these people because they're like, oh my god, are you guys there dating, right? And my mom would literally be straight up rude and just said, fuck you, basically, and just said, no, this is my son. And the clients were just like, oh my god, we didn't even know you had a son. And it's like, yeah, this is my son. And so she had to be really rude to them. And the dude at the receptionist was just like, oh my god, that's his son. Oh my fucking god. Like, it didn't click on him, right, you guys? So he was just like, oh shit, I just met her entire family. Like, what's next? Am I gonna meet like her cousins? Like the dad or something? I don't know. I just know he never met my dad. That's all I know. That I'm very happy about that. But anyway, so my brother was like looking straight at this dude a lot, right? So he'll be on his phone, right? He'll be like, oh dude, like, oh, this is funny, ha ha ha, right? And then he'll just stare at the dude, and then he'll just stare at the TV just to see what kind of movie or TV show was on. Sadly, they only played like, I don't remember what movie it was. I wish my brother remembered. He just said, oh, it was about a robot, and I was just like, how the fuck would I know, right? So he never told me. So anyway, after that, you know, my brother, he got intimidated. Like, he intimidated this guy, and he was like trying to break out of his shell and everything. And then so he literally avoided my brother. And so my brother was just like, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on, I need to do something. So he was like, hey, do you know how long my mom's gonna be? So he went up to the dude and was just like, hey, do you know how long my mom's gonna be? So I think she'll be done in like 10 minutes. He's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to the gas station, I'm gonna get something to eat and drink, and then I'll be right back. He's like, and the dude was just like, sure, I'll if your mom comes out, I'm gonna let her know, like, you'll be back. And it's like, okay. So my brother drove off, and then while he was getting his snack or drink or whatever, he pulled out the phone, he texted both of us, and my brother told me exactly the same way as I told you guys. And my sister was like, what the fuck is his problem? And then me too, I was just like, what was wrong with him? And my brother was like, I don't know, but I'm gonna ask him when I get out, when I come back. And so he came back, and I think he had like drinks and something to snack for my mom and all that, but like he already promised her he was gonna get tacos anyway, because like every single time whenever my mom went to a doctor's appointment or did something, we always offered to go to eat, right? And my brother was like, we're gonna go get tacos after this. Mom was like, yeah. So she was kind of really happy, right? And so it's like, yeah, we're gonna go pick up Jenny and Bubba to see if they want to go to, eat tacos with us. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. So the receptionist immediately was just like, okay, avoiding looking at my brother but looking at my mom, right? It's like finally giving her the eye contact that she wants, just to be acknowledged, like, hey, I am one of your clients, you need to acknowledge me, that type of thing, right? So the guy was just like, okay, and it's like, here, your next appointment won't be in another 6 months, and then it looks like everything is great. And it's like, okay, thank you. And then my brother had the last word, and I was very shocked when he said it. He was like, so if my sister comes back in here, I hope you're not staring at her, dude. I was shocked. The dude was so shocked. Like, he was like, what the fuck? How does he know that? Or something? He just looked shocked. He was just like, I better not catch you staring at my sister ever again if she comes back. Luckily, I never came back to that doctor's office, you guys. I'm so happy. I never did. I was just like, fuck it. I just gonna, whatever. So after that, it became like just a weird fucking memory for all of us. And whenever I brought it up, like, my sister was just like, yeah, I still don't know what the fuck that dude's problem was. I don't even know if they even went back to go see him. I don't even know if he works there anymore. I don't even know my mom even goes to that doctor's anymore. I might have to ask her when I have time, if I remember. But all I know is that I remember after that, years passed by before I moved here to Texas. I'll pass by the building, and then my mind will be bombarded with like, does he still remember me? Like, why the fuck was he staring at me? Did he thought I looked weird? Did I look ugly? Or did I whatever? Like, I did not know how to react to that. And after that, I don't even know. My mom says she I don't think he even works there anymore. I was just like, I don't know, Mom, but wasn't that so creepy? My mom was like, yeah, I've never, like, usually they always stare at your brother because they always feel intimidated. And then, of course, like, you and your sister are very pretty. But, like, your sister's dolled up, She looked even extra pretty. But you were barefaced. You were wearing, like, your normal clothes that you were wearing in high school and college. So, what the fuck was that dude up? And so I remembered telling this experience also with my husband at the time, and then now my husband now. So I was telling Blake like back then, and then a few days ago about this, and then his response was the same. He's like, maybe he's a chubby chaser. I was just like, what the fuck? If he was, that was a very creepy way to announce himself that he's a chubby chaser, because that is very creepy. So anyway, I'm gonna end the experience right there. I know this was a very long video, but I had to talk about this because it was like one of those things I forgot, and it was always in the back burner of my mind, and I thought about, like, you know, maybe I should talk about this experience one day, and then all of a sudden I completely forgot for a little bit, and then bam, that memory from 10 years ago on my personal Facebook showed up, and I was like, I had to talk about it with you guys, because only a few friends knew about this, or they forgot about the experience. And if I went to go talk about this the next time I talk about it with my friends, or they want to know more details about it, or like whatever, or like if a conversation struck up and it's just like, dude, have you ever had a stalker, or did you have somebody stare at you, like, what the fuck? And then I'm gonna be like, yes, because I had no idea how to handle it, and so I will link them this video if I could. I'll be like, I'm gonna tell you the full details, but it's already on a YouTube video, so I'm gonna link it to you guys, and then that way y'all can just see it for yourselves and then learn from my experience, that type of thing. But I do regret not like having the courage at the time to go up to him and ask him, like, you know, what the fuck is your problem, that type of thing. And so I remembered you know, kind of like years later about it, and then I just remembered what I seen him from before the whole doctor's visit. Apparently he was a guy from my college. Apparently he was like one of those guys that blended in the background, like he didn't want nobody to give attention to. I don't remember if he took a class or something like that. I just knew he wasn't in the same program as me, because when I was in college I studied to do pharmacy technology, and I did got my AS for it. But I don't know if he was like an RT, PT, I don't know what program he was into, but all I remember was I took some gen ed classes during my time in college, and it was like a span of like 2 years worth, and then plus my 6 months of my regular PT classes, basically. And so I don't remember like he never stood out much. But I remember like me getting really good grades in class, and a lot of the teachers praised me, so I just thought, oh, maybe he was just jealous or something, I don't know. And I felt like maybe I bumped into them at a grocery store and probably just realized who I really was. I don't know. I just remember like this really kind of like familiar face in college, and I thought, oh, he's very handsome. And it was already at the time where I recently broke up with like one of my ex-boyfriends, and I was like, okay, well, maybe like I just thought to myself, I'm not gonna get in a relationship this quick. But of course, you know what happened with Blake, so it was different. And so I kept looking at this dude whenever I can, and he had the same look back then as he did when it was in the doctor's office. So I was just like, oh fuck, okay. So now that I know that he was from my college, how come he never talked to me? Or even then, how come I never had the courage to freaking talk to him about it? But and then I thought, oh, maybe I might have spilled his coffee. I might have done something, bumped into them in the store or something. But no, he was just a random dude from my college. And apparently he might have recognized me, and he kept staring at me, wondering if like maybe I was the same girl as in his college. I don't know, you guys, but all I know is I am glad that this that experience was over for me back then, and I get to talk about it with you guys. So there you go. But I'm just gonna go now. This video has been way too long. I just can't believe I've been rambling this long. So anyway, I'm gonna go now. Hopefully next week will be a crafting video, or I'm gonna be doing the washi tape collection video, like I said. I don't know. I do have a shopping haul hopefully soon. Maybe next month I'll do it. I don't know. But I have so many things to show you and all that. So, and I'm going to show you my washi tape collection. Maybe that will be the next week's video. So anyway, I'm going to go now. All right. Hopefully you guys have a lovely day and a lovely week, and I'll see you guys next week. All right. Bye everyone.